This is the Motorola Droid Razr battery upgrade conversion video brought to you by cellphonerepairshop.com. The conversion kit includes the following Droid Maxx parts: battery door, middle housing, battery adhesive, and the EB40 battery. For easier to do-it-yourself installation, we also recommend purchasing the Razr Maxx PCB chassis bracket and the following tools: prying tool, T3 and T5 torque screwdrivers. Begin by removing the camera bezel using the prying tool. Using a heat gun on low setting, heat around the back of the battery cover for 10 seconds. This will allow the adhesive to loosen up so you can remove the back cover without damaging the phone. Using the prying tool, carefully slide and twist all around the back of the phone, separating and removing the back battery cover. It is normal for the plastic to make some cracking noises as you are unsnapping and separating the two pieces, but be very careful not to press the prying tool too far in, damaging the internal components of the phone. Using the T3 torque screwdriver, remove 3 long silver screws from the top of the back housing. Using the T5 torque screwdriver, remove the 3 black screws from the bottom of the back housing. Now once again, using the T3 torque screwdriver, remove the 4 short gold screws from the middle part of the back housing. Using the prying tool, carefully slide and twist all around the back of the phone, separating and removing the back housing. It is normal for the plastic to make some cracking noises as you are unsnapping and separating the two pieces, but be very careful not to press the prying tool too far in, damaging the internal components of the phone. Using the prying tool, remove the rubber grommet on the battery contact terminal. Also, go ahead and remove the white microphone rubber grommet. Using the T5 torque screwdriver, carefully remove the 2 screws holding down the battery. Using the prying tool, carefully pry and detach the battery being held down by strong adhesive from the back of the phone. Again, being careful not to short out the phone. Using the T3 torque screwdriver, remove the 3 silver screws holding down the metal chassis to the motherboard and remove the chassis. If you purchase the optional Droid Razr Maxx black chassis, this is where you would replace the silver one with the new black one, which is a perfect fit with the new parts. If you did not purchase the optional Razr Maxx black chassis, we will now have to mark the existing silver chassis and make some modifications to the right side. We are going to put the old silver chassis with the new Razr Maxx back housing and partially reassemble them so that we can mark where we need to trim the silver chassis. So simply snap the back housing on and you will be able to see the gap. Take a marker and mark the area that needs to be trimmed. Now remove the back housing and the silver chassis. Use a handheld grinder and very carefully trim the frame where you mark at a 45-degree angle. Be careful not to damage the screw holes or the back housing retention holes, as these are used to keep the back housing securely in place. Without them, you may experience problems with the SIM and SD card door. Please be very careful using any kind of grinder and take all safety precautions necessary. We do not recommend using this tool if you're not experienced with using a grinder. Do this at your own risk. You may have to reassemble this a few times to make sure you have shaved off enough of the chassis for the back housing to fit properly. Install the modified or new Droid Maxx chassis and reinstall the T3 Torx screws. Be careful not to over-tighten and damage the motherboard. Now adhere the provided double-sided battery installation adhesive onto the back side of the new EB40 battery. Make sure that the orange battery removal tab is lined up as shown. Now remove the film on the other side of the adhesive and carefully line up and place the new battery inside the middle chassis, making sure your battery contacts line up properly. Using a T5 Torx screwdriver, tighten the battery flex cable contacts onto the motherboard. Also, reinstall the battery terminal rubber grommet and the upper microphone rubber grommet. Using the prying tool, remove the ringer from the old back housing and install it in the new one. Using a flathead screwdriver, remove the 3 plastic heat stakes, holding down the camera flash module onto the old back housing and pry out the module. Be very careful not to damage the flash module. Now we're going to line up and place the camera flash module onto the new Razr Maxx back housing. Using the tip of a soldering iron very carefully without damaging the flash module, melt the 3 new heat stakes going through the camera flash holes, securing the module in place. Remove the yellow protective cover on the camera lens and snap the back housing back together. Using a T3 Torx screwdriver, tighten the 4 middle gold screws and the 3 long top silver screws in place. Using a T5 Torx screwdriver, tighten the 3 black bottom screws in place. Remove the white protective cover on the camera lens and the protective film on the camera flash adhesive. Now remove the white protective cover on the back battery housing cover and snap the back cover onto the back housing. And finally install the camera lens bezel onto the top rear side of the phone. This concludes the Motorola Droid Razr battery upgrade conversion to the Droid Razr Maxx, giving you almost twice the battery life. Purchase your parts at cellphonerepairshop.com. Thank you for watching.